This weekend was crazy. I'm going to tell you, this weekend was like no other weekend, and we are going to talk about it ahead. Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is the Ready, Set, Go preview show. This is a show that I do every single Sunday night because it gives us an opportunity to come together as a community and to just talk about some things that are on my mind and might also be on your mind as well. And I am switching from the Wi-Fi to the hard line, so bear with me because you may be seeing a grainy picture. As I alluded to, this weekend has been a very interesting one for several different reasons, and we are going to spend a little bit of time talking about why, at least one of those reasons that made this weekend special. And then we're also going to have a guest on. We're going to have a guest on. We normally do our guests on Wednesday, but we decided to get a little frisky, and we are actually going to do it tonight. In just a second, I'm going to give you guys a rundown some of the content that is going to be coming out from the channel over the course of this week. And as you all know, because you're probably subscribed to this channel, and if you're not, you definitely want to do that. I release pre-recorded content on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and then I go live on Wednesday and Sunday. And the pre-recorded content comes out at 6 p.m. I'm sorry, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the live stream on Wednesday is 7. And then the one on Sunday right now is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so let's go to the chat real quick. And let me say hello to some comic book swoldiers and Gibbon gang that have shown up in here. I'm scrolling through. Matt Woods is like, is the guest Bentley? No, it is not Bentley. But hey, I'm going to be honest with you. Bentley is like a superstar on the TikTok. If you are not on the TikTok and following Bentley, you are definitely missing out because Bentley is a bona fide superstar when it comes to the TikTok. Let me see, scrolling through some of the comments here. I think I am, Joe is in here. How you doing, Joe? It's good to see you. Climbing Comics is in the house. The OG is in here. Tina, it is always good to see you, my friend. Doug Bratton is up in here. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Simon, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. He is throwing all the thumbs up and all the peace signs possible. He crammed a lot in there. It's good to see you, brother. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Mr. Comic 89, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Joshua is in the house. Swoljers faux life. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. I'm scrolling up through the chat. Almighty Liger King, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. GT is in the house. Scrolling through, my man Brian is in here. It's good to see you, brother. Crazy 8 Comics is in the house. All right, so the rundown of content that is going to be coming out this week. We're going to release a top 10 video. And this top 10 video is where I am going to count down 10 awesome books from my personal collection. Right. And it's an interesting list. Let's just say that it is an interesting list. I'm going to rip through my top 10 books. The question is it raw? Are they graded? Are they all major keys? Are they minor keys? Did I do nostalgia? Did I do things from my childhood? Like, what was the theme of the pulling of the books? That is like the big question. So I definitely encourage you guys to stay tuned for that video. It will be coming out this week. I'm also doing a CGC submission as well. So I show you the books that I'm actually sending in, and I talk a little bit about the possible grades that could be realized from those books. And then I also found some awesome books in the 100K collection. I continue to find great books. These actually uncovered. I uncovered them as I was doing some things here in the comic book room this weekend, getting things a little organized and situated. Found some awesome books that I had found before that I never showed you guys in the video. So we're going to show the video and the books now. And then we're also going to do comics today. In addition to those pre-recorded videos and live streams, we're going to be releasing a podcast. And I saw someone's comment on Facebook earlier today. They were like, how am I going to get through my day without a podcast being released, because I think there was like a one period or 1 week where I didn't release a podcast, and I saw that person's message just today because I don't check Facebook all that often. But we are releasing a podcast on Monday at 10 a.m. Fingers crossed that my brother makes that magic happen. And then we are also releasing a blog post. Blog post is also coming out. So I think I misspoke there. Podcast is on Monday at 10. And the blog post is on Wednesday at 10. So my bad on that. But a ton of great content that is actually coming out from the channel this week. All right. So in addition to those things, part of the reason why I said this weekend was a wonderful weekend, a couple of people are spilling the beans here in the room. So we're going to, I clearly ignored those comments because I have a process. I have a process through which we are going to execute. I think a lot of people, I think probably know this. I was nominated for a ton of comic book community awards. I was nominated for 5 of them. And I do believe that I was, let me take the do believe out. I was the most nominated YouTube channel out there. And that is not me attempting to be braggadocious. That is me saying thank you. If you are watching this video right now, either live in the chat or you are watching this thing back on replay, there is a strong possibility that you voted for me. And it is because of your views. It is certainly because of your direct votes, that direct action that you took, that I was able to be nominated for 5 awards, the most nominated YouTube channel out there in the first year of the awards. And last night we found out who the winners were. We found out who the winners were. I'm gonna tell you, I was on the struggle bus. I was on the struggle bus because the show did not start until 9 o'clock. I was tired. Okay, I was tired, but I powered through. I powered through the show, and we managed to walk away with 4 wins. We managed to walk away with 4 wins. And immediately after the show ended, I received a message from Travis, Comics with Bueller, and he asked me if it stung. He asked me if my defeat stung, because one of the awards that I did not get actually went to Bueller. And so shout out to him. We have a friendly competition. It's mostly on my part because he's just kicking my butt in terms of subscribers, so I can't really brag too much. But I did walk away with 4 awards, and those 4 awards again are thanks to you all, the folks that are watching the content, the folks that are in the chat right now. I absolutely appreciate you guys. So what were the 4 categories? The 4 categories were the most entertaining content creator. And I'm going to tell you, there were some characters. There were some characters that were on the list. I'm not quite sure how we pulled that one off because these guys are interesting guys. But we did win that one, the most entertaining content creator. Potentially one of the 2 that I'm honestly proud of several of these. I'm going to be honest with you. One of the ones that I am really proud of is the Comic Book Community Builder Award. That's huge. That is huge. To be recognized as someone that helps to build this community, I think that is huge. So I am humbled by all of them, but truly that one. I also won Channel of the Year, which is crazy. Which is crazy because there are so many great content creators out there, new and old, that are putting out some wonderful content. Competition for a lot of these were very, very tough, and that certainly was one. And then the last one that is, I probably should have saved that video, that time to retire video that I released last week. I probably should have saved that for this one because I won the Stanley Award, the Lifetime Achievement Award. And I'm like, man, mic down, I'm done, right? But those were the 4 awards that I managed to win with you all's assistance. And I went into this thing just shocked at the number of awards that I was nominated for, and I honestly never thought that I was going to win four of them, right? That wasn't on my mind. I honestly pushed a lot of this to the back of my mind and I did not focus on it. I went into it with no real expectations. I went into it honestly like it'll be what it'll be, right? Because you just never know. You never know. And there's been many times where I've been nominated for something, the most nominated for something, and I walked away with zero, right? So it's happened before. But I went into this with zero expectations, and I was pleasantly surprised to see how it went, and again, extremely thankful for that. So I saw Doug giving me a shout out. Reggie was out of control this week. Brother, what was out of control was my bill at Home Depot and Lowe's, because I was at those two stores I think 3 or 4 times this weekend. So that was brutal. Let me tell you, that is not cheap. I'm scrolling through some of the comments here real quick. Randy, thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. Randy's giving the shout out for the 4 wins. I'm scrolling. Oh, I was way behind. Ken, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Let me scroll up. What is Facebook? Never heard of it. You are not missing much, my friend. You are not missing much at all. Scrolling through some of the comments. But what is that? About to send some DC comic keys for a submission in the coming week, says the almighty Liger King. That's what's up. Good stuff, brother. Tina says, sounds like some fun content. I think it is. I think there is some good stuff that is going to be coming out. So scrolling through, scrolling up. You are hilarious. I'm scrolling up through the comments here. I think I may be all caught up. Yeah, I think I am. So again, it was a great weekend for lots of different reasons, but definitely because of the awards thing. So Reggie with 2G says the wife said congrats to you also. Thank you, brother. Thank you and the wife. I absolutely appreciate it. Chris Bigger says, man, I should have stock in Lowe's as much money as, yeah, man. For me, it's Home Depot. For whatever reason, I do prefer the Home Depots. Lowe's is great. I like their finished products, but when it comes to like building supplies and things like that, I actually do prefer the Home Depot. So yeah, but I was at both of them, and both of them have shortages of certain materials. So I had to bounce between them for the various projects that I was working on. So let me see. Fat Dad says, crushed it. Man, hey, I just tried. Oh my goodness, Mark is trying to give all the success to Tina. He is saying 0 awards before Tina was in your corner. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. The woman is a lucky charm. Okay. She likes shiny things, so she's like a shiny lucky charm, and I am very thankful for her. Let me tell you. And as I was accepting one of the awards last night, I gave as I was trying to organize my thoughts, because I had not thought about winning, so I was not prepared to like talk, right? But as I was processing through, I thanked at one point the blue wrenches, and I really do mean all the blue wrenches, right? Because yes, Tina is the OG. Yes, I do talk to Tina and about Tina a lot, but all of the blue wrenches deliver. They always deliver for showing up in the chats. They're in Discord. They're sending me messages, correcting me on things. They do a lot of things behind the scenes to keep me honest and on track, and they encourage me and all that great stuff. So to me, the foundation of the channel is the blue wrenches, and then then everybody else in the channel, the podcast, and the blog post are all built upon that, And so again, I'm very appreciative for all of the people that subscribe to the channel. I really, really am. So Gibbon Gang got it done, brother. Let me tell you, I don't know what's gonna happen next year, but for the next year, until the next award thing, we are gonna celebrate, and we are gonna celebrate all the time. And yeah. So let me scroll through some of the comments. Blue wrenches are indeed awesome, no doubt about that. The Blue Wrench Mafia, they have weapons. They do have weapons. So scrolling through some of the comments here. Go Blue Wrenches. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. my family, I believe that one of my family skills is communication, just the ability to gab. And I'm a little bit of the oddball because I am actually an introvert. I am an introvert, but once you get me going, once I get warmed up and I start talking, then I can talk, and then I go sit in the dark and I rest up. Scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Yes. The blue man, the blue wrenches have saved me many a time. Okay, many a time, and there's a lot of people that are closely associated with the channel that are not blue wrenches that also keep me honest. That send me messages. Hey, think about this. Hey, you might want to consider that. So I'm definitely appreciative of all of those people. So let me. My phone is across the room. Let me check on one thing, people. Let me check on one thing. Um, so again, huge shout out to Brian for organizing the awards ceremony. Let's type that message. So, all right, good. So we're good with that. But yeah, Brian did a fantastic job. I had no clue what to expect when the award started. Like I had no feeling for what was going to happen. But I was entertained. I was entertained, and at various moments, I was also a little touched. And I'm specifically I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about like the tribute that was done to Sam, a member of the comic book community that actually passed away. I did not know Sam really at all. Like I may have had a couple of conversations with him, but um, I don't think that I knew him as well as some of the other people that are out there. But I was touched by the tribute that was done last night to him, and I was pleased to see the award that I did not get go to Comics with Bueller. And I think like the Sam tribute led into the Bueller winning that award. And the two of those gentlemen were shown on screen just having a really wonderful time. And I know that he and Travis were close. And so it was nice. It was pleasant. And I was touched. I really was touched by that one. So yeah. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. Brian's like, looking forward to 2022. Brother, thankfully you have some time to rest up. You have some time to rest up because that was a lot. What you did to get that done over the period of time in which it was done, it was a Herculean effort, and you should be very, very proud of what you did. You should be very proud of that. The success of it is just incredible, man. So Chris Bigger is like, are you not? Oh my goodness. This guy right here, man. This guy. So here's the thing, Joe. I didn't know you were that funny. I'm gonna be completely honest, Joe. I did not know you were that funny. I did not know you could do accents. This guy, if you haven't seen the show, I encourage you to check it out, man. Joe let us New York hang out, because I'm from Detroit, so we always say, pardon me if my D is showing, right? Because we are a special breed. Joe let his New York hang out, and it was woo. It was interesting. It was interesting. So yeah, yes, indeed. Brian says taking a couple of weeks down. There you go. So can somebody, Brian, if you might, or someone else that has quick fingers, if you might be able to throw up the link so that people can check out the award ceremony. Pardon me for bumbling some of my words as I was accepting those awards. It's honestly difficult for me in some cases to have the attention be focused on me, especially with something like that I haven't been able to process through. So I probably will never watch the award ceremony back. Let's just put it that way. But if somebody could put the link up, I think some people would want to take a look at that, including the almighty Liger King. Yes, indeed he did. Yes, indeed he did. He did a solid job. So I am stalling here for just a couple of moments, trying to see if our guest is going to appear. And I have a feeling that there's someone out there that can probably assist me with that just a little bit to make sure that things are moving forward in a timely manner, because I'm unable to do it right now. So one of the other things I think, let me talk about this real quick. Let me talk about this real quick. So I want to give a shout out to Mark Andrews. He actually hipped me to this a couple of days ago, and I've had so much stuff actually going on. Yeah, this doesn't bother me. This doesn't bother me because I'm prepared for this, right? I'm prepared, except for my camera. My camera angle's messed up. I probably bumped the thing one more time, so my camera's all jacked up. But this doesn't bother me. I'm actually quite comfortable with this, whether it's 50 people or 200 people. I mean, I've done presentations in front of almost 500 people, so I'm very comfortable with that because I can prepare for it. It is those emotional things that I am not necessarily prepared for because I don't know that they're going to happen. That causes me some angst, being the introvert that I am, so at this point, I actually want to bring our guest on. And when I say the name Dave Bratton, a lot of people out there will automatically assume that I'm talking about Doug. They think I'm talking about Doug that is almost always on the show. I should give him host privileges. Doug has been on the show this many times, but we are going to have a different Bratton on. We're going to have a different Bratton on. We're going to have Dave Bratton on to spend a little time chatting with me. Dave, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Reggie, I'm doing well. How are you?
Brother, your camera is crispy. That's a nice looking camera. Sometimes people show up and they're a little fuzzy. That's sharp, man. I like it. How are you doing, brother? You doing well?
I'm doing well. Yeah, things are good. I'm not doing as well as you are. Four trophies in one night.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it took LeBron 15 years and 3 teams to get 4 trophies. You did it in like a year. So
he didn't have the Gibbon gang.
I mean, I think the headline is Reggie is greater than LeBron. I think that's
he had D Wade, but he didn't have the Gibbon gang or Tina. Clearly, that's the secret weapon. It's the secret sauce that was missing. But I wanted to have you on, man. We've been trying to hook up for like weeks. We've been trying to hook up for weeks, and we just could not get things lined up. But I wanted you on tonight to talk about a couple of things. And one of the first things that we are going to talk about is the cover to this book right here, the book that I wrote with your brother, The Guide to Smart Comic Collecting, the guide that actually sold out. You actually worked on the cover for this, yes?
that I did. Yes. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm actually going to pull the cover up. So I want folks to actually see this cover. But before I pull the cover up, this is a specific cover, right? This is basically an homage to something. Talk with me about what it is an homage to and why you chose to make this homage. And then I'm going to actually reveal the cover.
Gotcha. I think a lot of us can trace our love for these characters in this medium back into, our early childhood. And, my favorite characters as a kid are the characters I saw on television and film, like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. Now, there was a TV show on when I was a kid. It was a Saturday morning live action show, super low budget, called Shazam. And I mean, you watch it now, you're like, I think they spent about $50 an episode to make it. No, I mean, look, in the 70s, this was better than Barney. So, because of that show, I have an affection for the character Shazam. Now, Shazam, in my opinion, his best villain is sort of the player on the other side, his opposite number, Black Adam. I just think he's a cool villain. And when it came to doing an homage for this cover, Alex Ross did a variant for Black Adam #1. And to me, it's one of the great works by one of the great modern masters of the medium. I think the cover is explosive, dynamic. It's unbelievable. And I'm like, yeah, let's give this a shot.
But this didn't originally start out as a cover for the guide. This was originally an AOK that you gave me at GarageCon.
Yes. And that was, when GarageCon was looking like, yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I want to do something for you. Doug's my brother, and he's one of the most
wait a minute. Whoa.
people in my life.
Wait a minute, say it again. I was getting over the shock of you saying Doug's your brother. I'm sorry. I'm ready now. What were you saying?
Doug's my brother. We've been, through everything together. We're each other's biggest fan. We're each other's biggest cheerleaders. We're each other's biggest support, especially with the creative stuff. And, you guys have formed a partnership that I think is terrific.
Yep.
So you're all in with my brother. So I'm all in with you.
That's what's
And
up.
so I wanted to do something for you when I got to meet you at GarageCon. And look, I love your channel too, outside of Doug. I'm appreciative of Doug, introducing it to me, but you do great stuff. And I think last night kind of proved, your talent is obvious. It's clear.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you were recognized for it last night.
Thank you. I mean, again, I was super humble when you showed up with like gifts. Like I did not think that people were gonna bring AOKs, and you get out the car and you were like, "Hey, I got you something." I'm like, "Oh, okay, what is this?" And it was dope. It was dope. And through a series of like, I don't want to call them mishaps, but a series of things converging, it made sense to take what you had created and turn it into the cover for the guy that your brother and I worked on. So without any further ado, I do want to show this cover because I think it's amazing. Let me see if I can get myself together to actually be able to show this thing the proper way. And what we're going to look at right now is the Virgin. This is the Virgin cover that was created. And I probably should have had the Black Adam issue #1 side by side next to this one. But yeah, stuff happens.
Alex is better.
No, I mean it's Alex Ross. It's hard to compare with Alex Ross, right? But this is incredibly well done, and I'm confident people as soon as they see this, they're like, "Oh, I know which cover he's talking about." If they couldn't picture it before, they probably know. But talk to me about this. You did, I believe, the pencils, but not the colors for this. Is that correct?
That is true. I cannot take credit for the gorgeous digital paint job. I did the pencils, my idea, did the pencils, and then I went to a good friend of mine. We've been very close since freshman year in high school. So a long time. His name's Adam Shermer. He's a super talented artist, always has been. I mean, he's a vice president in an ad agency because of his artistic talent and art direction. He's just a phenomenal person, phenomenal talent. And I said, "Hey, would you be willing to digitally paint this? I know my skill set. I can draw. I can't paint. You can. You take a crack at it." And fortunately for me, he said, "Yeah." So, and here it is. So
it came together incredibly well. I mean, you showed up and you had the pencil art, and then you had a printout of this for me, and they're both awesome. And to see them side by side, and again, it was like a perfect thing. I had this artwork, and I'm like, I need a cover for the guy, and I'm like, well, why don't I just use this? It's already done. It's right here, and it's awesome, So for the folks that are looking right now, this cover by Dave and Adam is just a really awesome cover. And this is going to be the Virgin cover of the guide that we are going to do. And so we took this. Dave sent it over to Scott the other day, and Scott, who is the guy that did the layout for the guide, did his magic. And I want to show you what it is that these gentlemen created. And I want to show it in the right order so I don't jack it up. This is a starting mock-up, if you will, of the trade dress version. And we still have a couple of tweaks that we're going to make to this because I need to modify, of course, now the seal that's on there for the 5 nominated. It's now 4 awards. So we're going to modify that. We're going to make a few other tweaks. But we made some other changes here. And one of the changes that we made is up in the upper left-hand corner, the corner art was actually done by a guy by the name of Matt Regie. And Matt is a super talented guy out of California that I actually met and used to see in the comic shop all the time. He actually surprised me just the other day by posting this up on Instagram. And I saw the corner art and I was like, hey, you think I can use this? And so he graciously agreed to allow me to use it. But Dave, as you look at this mock-up of the trade dress. What are your thoughts on this cover?
It's a wave of nostalgia. I mean, I feel like I'm looking at every comic book I picked up as a kid. I think, yeah, he did a great job with it. I also saw Reggie's the Terminator. It was cool, it looks great, and it's very old school comic, which I love. Sort of, Alex Ross, that covers a little bit more new school. That's come out in the last 15 years. The trade dress, a little bit more old school. And I just think it's a great combination. I think it looks awesome.
I think it came together quite nicely. And one of the other things that I announced the other day was that we were not going to be doing anything crazy for the different covers of the guide. It's flat price. You buy the guide, available on regiecollects.com, and I'm going to randomly insert the trade dress, the virgin variant, which is this cover right here that we just looked at a few moments ago. And then we're also going to have a secret variant. It's going to be a secret variant. And what I will do is, as we get closer to ultimately releasing this, I'm going to release all of the details around the print run sizes. Everybody will know exactly how many copies are out there, but pre-orders are still coming in, so I cannot tell you that right now. But again, when we get ready to release all these, I'm going to disclose all of the information so that everyone has all the transparency in the world. But Dave, I want to show the secret variant that is also going to be released, and then I want you to talk about this one as well. So this is what it looks like. And what was the thought here? What was the thought here as we went from the Alex Ross orange type of background to the virgin variant that you did primarily, that was the red, to the purple? Like, talk to me about those color transitions and the rationale for that.
Sure. The red says Reggie. That's your
true.
color. That's your brand. So that seemed like a perfect choice for the original creation. And then we started talking about, a different color variant. We just started doing a little bit of research and looking at, different images of the sky with lightning.
Mm.
We were looking at some dark blue, which kind of had sort of a Dark Knight Returns vibe to it. And just, I was looking at some of those, and I happened to notice some purple too. So I was talking with Adam. I'm like, I like the blue. There's some interesting purple shots of just gorgeous purple sky with lightning breaking through it. And you know what? Adam ran with it. He did an amazing job. He went with the purple, and
it looks good.
I love it. Yeah, I think
as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like,
I
didn't say that again.
Royal variant.
Yeah. I didn't have anything in my head in terms of like a color, because I'm so focused on like red and all the other stuff that I'm working on. But when I saw this, I was like, man, that's awesome. And I think my daughter will love it, because like purple's her favorite color. So I think she'll actually really like that. But again, it came together incredibly well. So again, for those folks that are watching this, the way that we're going to do it is the guide. The second print is the same price as the first. It is $11.99 plus shipping. And what we're going to do is we're going to print the trade dress, the virgin, and now this not so secret variant cover. And we're going to disclose the quantities of each, and we're basically going to randomly insert those into orders, and then they're going to go out, and that's basically going to be it. And part of the reason why I wanted to do that was because I didn't want to say, well, if you want this special cover, it's X amount. If you want this one, it's this amount. If you want a package deal, then it's this. There's only one of me. So I wanted to keep it relatively simple. And it's like, you're buying the guide for the content that is in there, and then you have an opportunity to get one of these other cool covers that was done by, these people that are way more creative and talented than I, that I am very appreciative of. So I definitely appreciate your work on this, and the same with Adam. I appreciate the teamwork that you guys have, but then your ability to get the stuff over to Scott so that he can make some magic as well. So thank you very much, brother.
No, thank you. It was super exciting when this started going that direction.
Yeah, because it happened relatively quick, and I'm thankful that you were amenable to my request to let me use the artwork. So as I alluded to at the top of the show, there were a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about. One of them was the cover art, because that was like the big thing. But you also have a YouTube channel as well. What is the name of that YouTube channel, and what is that channel all about? And this is people, this is a setup for something I'm about to show here in a moment. So Dave, what's the YouTube channel, and what's it all about?
It's called Action Figure Comedy, and the name kind of says it all. You know, it's sketch comedy featuring action figures. It's a creative outlet for me. It's something, you know, it's a labor of love. It's a fun thing to do. I mean, think Saturday Night Live, maybe a little bit of Simpsons in there, with characters from pop culture, except I don't have the money to bring in Chris Evans. I don't have the money to bring in Ben Affleck. So I do have the money to buy their action figures, though. So, you know, that's how we make it happen.
There we go. So I want to play something that you created for this show. I want to show it, and then we're going to talk about it on the other side. All right.
Robin, Batgirl, we've got trouble. There's a batch of sadistic scoundrels that need a good shellacking.
Holy hellraisers! Who are they, Batman?
This coterie of criminals is known as the Gibbon Gang.
The Gibbon Gang?
Who came up with that name?
Supposedly those sad sack simpletons selected a C-list supervillain from that second stringer Spider-Man.
Hey, don't blame me for that name. Why couldn't they call themselves the Carnage Crew?
The Bat Computer will tell us what malevolent miscreant runs that group of nasty ne'er-do-wells. Then we'll take them down.
Yes! I can't wait to serve justice.
Keep it in your pants, Batgirl. The computer's identified our ferocious fiend.
Holy ripped ruffian!
Oh, I have some important Justice League business I forgot about. He's all yours, Robin.
What? Are there any smaller, less muscular Gibbon Gang members than Reggie Simmons I could start with?
Matt Woods, Phil Tastic, D. Barrick 75, Mark Andrews, Tina Cranston, Chris Bigger, Anna Chronic, Squirrel Madness, Pretty Fly, Sully Two Kings. Oh, here's a puny punk I bet you could handle easily.
Doug Bratton. I can't wait to punch Doug Bratton in the face.
We all feel the same way, Robin. We all feel the same way.
Can I go too? I promised to kick Doug in the groin.
So I've watched that thing several times, and I find myself laughing every single time. That is incredibly well done. It is incredibly well done.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
here's my question to you. Here's my question. How long does it take you to do that? And in my head, I put it in like 4 buckets. There's the concept, there's the scripting, there's the filming and the refilming, and then there's the editing. How long does it take to put something like that together?
There's also the voice acting.
Oh.
So throw that in, which is a lot of fun. You know what? I've been asked this question before. It varies, but I'd say about 6 to 8 hours roughly to do each one. You know, sometimes longer depending on how visually challenging they can be. If there's effects work, sometimes there is. It depends. I think, you know, I've turned one around in just a few hours if it was timely. I think one of the latest ones with the Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm like, I've got to get this out now. So I cranked it out in like 3 hours maybe. But it usually takes a few hours. And the idea is it's like, you know, you got to find the funny first. You know, what's the idea here? And sometimes I draw upon, you know, just absurd thoughts that I have, or, you know, something that happens to me in real life. Our family went into the city a few weeks ago, and traffic stinks going into New York City. And so I'm like, what if Batman and Robin were in the Batmobile sitting in traffic? You know, what does that look like? You know, so, you know, there's an idea. One that's going to be out pretty soon. Believe it or not, it would never have happened if we hadn't gone to GarageCon. Doug, Matt Woods, and I went out shopping for some comic books, and something happened. And I'm like, I think there's something here. So you guys will see that hopefully in about a week.
That's awesome.
But yeah, you come up with the concept and you got to write, you know, jot it down, get the script. Honestly, I should probably rewrite more than I do, but sometimes it's go, go, go. Film it. I've been doing video for about 20 years, I guess, 20 years. And so it's one of my probably my preferred medium. When I get cutting video, you just kind of get into a flow, and that's something I really enjoy. So, get down in the basement, film it, grab the action figures you need, shoot it, and then the voice work. And that's something that's pretty that has its challenges. I think I'm a solid mimic, but they're better out there. They make a lot of money doing that. And really what I try and do is I try and find the vibe of the character. If I can find a line or a word, from a character from a show or a movie, and kind of get that feel, that sound in my head, and use that to guide how I'm saying the lines. But it's also like finding the vibe of what I want that character to be in my video. Not just what they are on screen. They're doing something ridiculous in these videos, most likely. So, who do I need them to be in this video? And Batman was kind of a jerk in that video, and that's fun to do. I love Batman, but it's fun to make him a jerk too,
You do, but you feature a lot of Batman. I feel like I see Batman often, and I know you prefer Black Adam and Shazam, but it seems like you also do prefer like the whole Batman and Robin dynamic as well for some reason or another. Is that a fair statement to make?
You know what? It depends on the day. But I do. Batman's great. A lot of times I do the Ben Affleck Batman because I can do some cool things with the filters for the voice. Sometimes I need those. Iron Man's a great one for that. Oftentimes there's Batman and Iron Man, and that's two. I want to make sure I have a DC character in there and a Marvel character in there, and it's not just because I love both comic groups equally. It's because I don't want one of them suing me. So I'm using both of you guys. You can't come after me just for using Batman.
That's awesome. How many characters, how many action figures do you actually own?
Tina asked me this question once. My wife will tell you too many.
Yeah.
Now she's great about it. She's super supportive. In other words, she puts up with it. I just tell people over 1,000.
Wow.
I know how many I have. I've been collecting action figures, over 30 years.
Wow.
So it adds up. And I do sell some from time to time, obviously. But, when I was a kid, I saw Star Wars and I saw Superman the movie within 6 months of each other. And those movies were kind of it for me. Those have defined my interests for the last, 40 plus years. I love superheroes. I love Star Wars. There's other stuff I love too. It's fun to get that in there. But those are sort of the foundation for my fandom.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And again, when I ask these questions, I never quite know what people are going to say, but I find it fascinating. So talk to me a little bit about, the sibling rivalry, right? Making Doug the butt of the joke. I mean, Doug he has a good sense of humor, right? But I'm pretty sure you were like, check it out. Yeah, I'm about to have Bad Girl kick you in the groin. So talk to me about you and Doug in this specific skit that you put together, finding the funny, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, Doug has an amazing sense of humor. There's a reason, he was a Reuben nominated cartoonist. I mean, that is the Oscars of the cartooning world. He's an incredible gag writer. He's supremely talented, amazing sense of humor. And, look, he's my brother. He was cool with it. He was gracious. I'm like, hey, Doug, cool if I make you the butt of this joke here. And of course he said, yes, he's my brother. Like I said, we're each other's biggest fans. And, we weren't always each other's biggest fans. Growing up, we fought. We fought a lot. And I mean, there was one fight where I don't know what I said or what he said. And I was reading a comic book. I was reading a Secret Wars, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars comic. And I think he took a shirt or a pillow or something and threw it, and it tore the back of my comic. That fight ended right there. We went right to the comic store, and he bought me another copy of it. Luckily, it wasn't number 8. So, or unluckily, I could have 2 copies. But it was rough when we were kids.
Yeah.
But you know what? There was, as much as we fought, we still cooperated. Doug and I, we created comic books together. Like we wrote and drew with another friend who helped with the writing, but we drew 5 issues of a comic book called Justice Force, which is in no way a total ripoff of the Justice League, not at all. But I mean, and I'm talking like 20 plus pages.
That's crazy.
We draw these, staple them. My grandfather made photocopies because that was a big deal back in when 40 years ago. So we grew up as best friends and worst enemies when we were little. As we got older, that worst enemies stuff fell to the wayside. So
absolutely love it. Again, I ask these questions. I never know what people are going to say, but the action figure comedy, man, every time I see one of the videos, I just cannot help but laugh. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I wish I still looked like that. Like the photo you show, I wish I still had that. I'm all dad bod now, so I'm not quite that anymore. I do miss those days. But what's funny is in that skit, you said something about I think it was Holy Hellraiser. That was actually my line name from back in the day. Well, one of my line names. Well, one of the fraternities that I pledged, I was Big Brother Hellraiser, and I did a lot of that back in college. And I tortured my little brother, so I know exactly what you're talking about. You met my brother. I think he still has some scars.
Your whole family's awesome.
Yeah,
that was one of the highlights of GarageCon for me. I thought your family was terrific.
Because you were able to see where I come from, I remember one time, man, I used to terrorize my brother. And I remember to this day, I remember laying on the floor in my grandmother's room, and my brother took this white car, and it had a fin on the back of it, had like a spoiler. He slammed it into my face. And I still have the scar in my eyebrow from that wound, but we fought a lot. I was 6 years older than him, so it wasn't quite fair. But I used to tie him to all kinds of stuff in the basement, the pole, turn the lights out, all kinds of stuff. But that's what brothers are for. That's what we do, Now you did comics with your brothers. You're doing a comic with your brother, technically, kind of, sort of, again with me. And my brother was at GarageCon and supports my podcast. So that's what brothers are for. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So one last question for you before I let you go. What is the frequency at which the videos come out on your YouTube channel, the skits? How often do they come out?
This is a question which has no answer. It's based on when the inspiration strikes. Some years I put out like 20, I put out 1 week. And then there's some times where it's like, I took a couple months off over the summer, and then I put one out this month, put one out next month. There's no set schedule, which probably isn't great for the algorithm. But like I said, it's a creative outlet, labor of love. And, my initial goal when I did it, and it's kind of interesting, and it's cool if we don't have time for it. This was born from sort of like from a good thing and a not so good thing, an ungood thing, to quote you. I've made videos for a long time, and Stephen Amell, the actor who plays Arrow, he has something on his Facebook page called Fan Art Friday. And I posted some pictures I'd take some action figure shots, and I had like weirdly good luck. He would share those. I mean, one was his Twitter picture at one point. He used it. Really? Another one he shared. It got 100,000 likes. It was a picture of him with Henry Cavill and Christian Bale Batman action figures. And this is like a little while before Batman versus Superman came out. And people assumed he was announcing that he was going to be in Batman versus Superman. I'm not kidding. Someone wrote an article about it. Like,
that's
I read
crazy.
it online, like, he shared this picture. It means he's going to be in the movie. And I'm like, I don't think that's it, but I don't know what he's thinking. I just think it's cool he shared it. And also around that time, before that, my career took a 1-year detour into advertising. And, I loved 5% of it. That was really creative. I won't say I hated the other 95% of it. Yeah. But I did. Yeah. And they had some budget cuts, and I got laid off. And for anyone who's been in that situation, I feel for you. It's hard. It's hard on you. It's hard on your family, which then makes it even harder for you. Yep. So when I was looking for jobs, I'm like, well, this is, looking for a job is the least fun job you will ever have, and it pays absolutely nothing. So I need a creative outlet. So, I'm looking for jobs and I'm making these videos. And I go back to Stephen Amell. I had an idea for a video for Fan Art Friday, one video with featuring Arrow. And then I thought of a second one, and I was talking to Doug about this. I'm like, I've got a couple ideas for videos. He's like, you could do a YouTube channel. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I could. Yeah. So my goal initially was 50 videos. I produced 98.
Wow.
Really, the Gibbon Gang one is the 99th, but I'm not counting that because that is specifically for you and your audience.
Yep.
So, I'm closing in on 100. So
That's
it's just one of those things,
That's fantastic. That's the thing, is you never know what can come out of some adversity. You never know what wonderful thing can come out of it. And you also don't know what happens when you talk to Doug, because I get all fired up when I talk to Doug too. So like I paced for like an hour in front of my house after one call we had, maybe on like a Saturday. I can't remember what day it was, but I kept doing loops in the front yard, so it happens. Thankfully I already have a YouTube channel, so he can't inspire me to do that. But Dave, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Before I let you go, where can people find you on the social media? Let me stop there, and then I'm gonna ask you another question after that.
Yeah, sure. One, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me. Like you said, we've been talking about this, and that's where the Gibbon Gang video, I'm like, you know what, if we're gonna do this, let's have something kind of cool and special for it. So that's where the Gibbon Gang video came. People can find me, all right, on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. Watch the rest of this video. But after you're done with this video, type in action figure comedy on the search. Now, action figure comedy is going to come up, but so is action figure therapy. Action figure therapy is not me. It's cool if you like them. That's fine. But please like me too. Action figure comedy. Subscribe. Check out the videos. And for me, a big thing is if you see something you like, if you see something that's funny, please share it. I mean, I watched your videos, Reggie, because Doug told me and he shared them with me. Yep. And that's why I'm here. And so if you see something funny and you're like, hey, I wouldn't mind sharing that on my social media, please do. I'd be grateful. You can also find the Action Figure Comedy Facebook page. Again, Action Figure Comedy in the search. And Instagram, it's Action Figure Comedy, but it's action _figure _comedy. My Instagram game is not good, but I'm working on it. So, if you want to do that, that's another way. But YouTube, if you can subscribe and check them out, that'd be awesome.
There we go. And what I'll do is when I wrap this, I'm going to put a link to your YouTube there in the description. And then I'm also going to put a link to the Gibbon Gang video as well, so that people can watch that. Because I've watched it probably 5 times and it's hilarious. It really is. Maybe it's because I just want to see Doug get kicked in the groin. I haven't quite figured it out, but I'm finding my funny. I'm finding my funny with the video. Let's put it that way. Again, Dave, it has been a pleasure, brother. Thank you for joining me on the show. And I will talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you, Reggie.
Oh, I cut him off right at the end. I'm too quick sometimes, Dave. My bad on that, brother. My apologies. What is that? There's a stairs saga. I don't know about the stairs saga. I think you guys were talking about that. I may have missed that. But I will try to put a link in the description of this video. I definitely want to encourage you guys to check Dave out. I've gotten to know both Bratton brothers well over the last little bit. They're both awesome guys. They actually came over the day before GarageCon. We hung out for a little bit here at the house, and just 2 awesome guys, super creative guys that we work well together. And I'm very thankful for them. I'm very thankful for the wonderful people, especially the creative people that have come into my life, because a lot of what I do, I need help doing. And so I'm definitely appreciate that. So shout out to my man Chris Bigger, who finally joined Instagram. He sent me a message the other day on the Instagram, and I immediately thought of him when Dave was talking about how his Instagram game was not strong. I thought about Chris, because his Instagram game also is not strong. Shout out to you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. All right. So let me see. What do I have time for? I have time for one thing. I want to talk about one thing, and this is where I was going right before we started that quick interview there. Mark Andrews reached out to me the other day, and he hipped me to something that I had not heard about, and I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was preparing for a big presentation at work. I do believe that that's where I was when he started messaging me about the possible sale of a publisher. And I had not heard this news at the time. And now the news appears to be out that some things might be happening with a publisher. So I actually want to share this really quickly. And I think this story originally appeared on Bloomberg, but I do not have access to Bloomberg. I don't have a membership, so I wasn't able to find it there or access it, I should say. But I did find it on comicbook.com. And this is an article that was released on December 4th. And it highlights here that Dark Horse has actually secured like some assistance. They've hooked up with an advisor that is trying to maybe help the founders of Dark Horse sell themselves, to sell them as a publisher to someone else. And so this article kind of talks about how Dark Horse has, had some success with the Umbrella Academy. That might be one of the biggest things that they actually have out there right now. There's some recent discussions around Gru the Wanderer. A lot of people are looking for Destroyer Duck in dollar bins right now because of the first appearance of Gru the Wanderer. But they're basically saying that there is the possibility that Dark Horse could be sold to Netflix or to Walt Disney. And this article is a lot of speculation. It's a little bit of hearsay. It's a little bit of, we think it could be this, it might be that. But I think what's probably the most accurate thing in here is that Dark Horse recognizes that their intellectual property is valuable. And they recognize that now might be the best time to strike, because the iron is indeed hot when it comes to comic book related IP. I've said it before, this is a golden age of comics. Like, everything is being optioned and picked up, and we may never see most of what is being optioned right now. But rest assured, there are big dollar amounts that are changing hands as these media outlets, these production companies are trying to lock up the rights to this valuable IP. And so Dark Horse is like, hey, the getting might be good right now. So let's see whether there are some suitors out here. And so Disney buys up everything, and Netflix has deep pockets, and Amazon, you never know if they're going to continue getting deeper into the comic book property. And there's been some speculation that they may indeed do just that with some of the things that they're doing with Comixology and some other things. Only time will tell. So I just thought that this was an interesting article. There isn't much here, honestly, worth reading, to be completely honest, but it is an interesting little tidbit that's actually happening in our market. It's just a continuation of some things that we've already seen with different entities selling themselves off to larger organizations, and players in the market continuing to kind of acquire other things. And I may talk more about that last part on Wednesday's show, on the Comics Today show. We may continue this stream of thought a little bit later. So stay tuned for that. All right. What is that? Streaming services, buying comic companies makes a ton of sense. Cheap IP development. Yeah, because again, when you think about like Netflix, not so much Amazon, but like Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, I mean, Apple, there's all, it's Disney Plus streaming. There's all of these platforms out there. They're all looking for content. They're all looking for ways to continue adding to their subscriber base, right? And it's basically like network TV all over again, like the Cold Wars, right? When it comes to network TVs, it's now all the streaming services. They're all competing for their share of eyeballs and their share of wallets. And he who has the best IP is he who will hopefully come out on top. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. So scrolling through, comics are just testing grounds for TVs and movie. I don't know that I could disagree with that. again, you think about it, comics, if they do it right, they can build a wonderful audience and fan base. You then take that IP, you tweak it, you twist it, you morph it, you turn it into a movie or a TV show or something like that. That fan base that read the comic automatically is going to go see it. I mean, I'm using that term loosely, right? Not all of them, but automatically will go see it. And now that it's out there, other people will be attracted to it as well. So it's like you have a wonderful built-in audience that is primed to your show because of the comics. And so it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Comics are basically scripts waiting to be put into production. I'm gonna tell you, that's why I need a comic. I need a comic because I want to be on TV. I want to be on TV. So let me see. I'm scrolling through some of the comments here. Matt Woods is saying, can't wait to see Geiger and Nocterra on the screen comics. Both of those are fantastic. Both of those are really awesome. Pretty Fly is saying studios want to see how far they can take a story. And again, they have wonderful, all of these issues of comics that come out that can be, expanded upon and built upon. And I think there's a lot of great work to be done. I think it's on its way, Reggie. Fingers crossed, brother. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna tell you, I do. I feel like I do. I feel like I do. Dave's in the chat. He's like, I really like That's what's up. All right. So with that, I am going to wrap this show up. Let me give you guys a quick reminder of some of the content that's coming out this week. Again, we are going to have a blog post and a podcast dropping this week. I'm going to be showing you some awesome finds from the 100K collection. We are going to do a CGC submission. I want to say that at least a couple of them are some Silver Age books that you'll see in that video. And then I'm also going to be counting down my top 10 books. And I do not think that those books are actually in any particular order, but we're going to look at 10 awesome comics that are in my collection. So the Reggie Simmons show. We won't give away cars, but we will give away some comics, my friend. You can count on that. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to Dave. I am so pleased that he and I were finally able to connect on the show. We have been discussing him coming on for a long time, and I'm glad that the stars aligned that made it possible. I am super pumped. I am super pumped that we were able to make use of his cover, which let me show you guys his cover one more time. For those people that came in a little late, let me show you guys the cover one more time. This is the cover that Dave Bratton and his buddy Adam worked on that will be used for the second printing of the Guide to Smart Comic Collecting. And so again, if you guys have not placed your order for the second print, I definitely want to encourage you guys to do so. We're going to be making some additional modifications and tweaks to some of the things that you see here. But this thing is headed down a very good path, and I am super excited to hopefully get this thing out before the end of the year. All right. With that said, if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
Tired of paying 10%, 15%, or more to sell your cards, comics, and digital collectibles? How does 1% sound? Too good to be true? Well, not anymore. MySlabs.com is the web's premier user-driven marketplace for buying and selling slabbed cards, sealed wax, and now slabbed comics and digital collectibles. So the next time you're forced to pay 10% or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com and join the 1% revolution.
See you guys. Take care.